call to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would best practice be approving the minutes each separately? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to accept the April 14 minutes?
Second. I make the motion, sorry.
Second?
Okay?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the minutes of May 12th?
Make a motion?
Second.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Just on the building and safety subcommittee, the cameras are gonna be installed the week. Those two should just be reversed. The doors will be installed next week and the cameras are.
I fixed it. Motion to accept the minutes with Don's amendments. Anyone make a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes with Bob's correction?
Second.
All in favor?
Oh, I need to write on with amended. Yeah.
Okay, and motion to accept the minutes of May 31st.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we should put the names
The names.
that,
The two new people?
the two people.
Okay. We now have two new employees who are Ryan
And Rebecca.
and Rebecca. What are their
And-
last names?
Ryan Farley and Rebecca Farias.
Excellent.
You want to write that on here?
Oh, I've got one right here, Polly.
And,
What was Rebecca?
Farias.
And Ryan
Now, do I
is-
need to redo that?
no.
No? Okay.
Motion to accept the minutes of May 31st with the addition of the names of our new employees.
Make a motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Peter?
Yes.
Date of the next meeting, July 14th. Bastille Day, if anyone is celebrating. We should have croissants.
Thank you.
Macarons.
And that needs, you need to sign that and turn it into Bonnie.
Oh, okay, okay, all right, okay.
Then it's official.
Okay, terrific.
Okay, any correspondence?
Yes, we got a donation on behalf of the Lions Club of Westport, Mass. for $3,000 to be used for programming or books or whatever we find suitable.
Nice. Wow.
$3,000.
And that's because they are breaking up the club and they have distributed the funds that they have.
Breaking up as in no longer having
As
it?
they're no longer going to be a Lions Club in Westport. There's no one to
Part
do
of it.
it. And they have given the scholarship money to the Westport Education Foundation, and part of this probably was from, remember the Chadwick? We were recipients of the Chadwick, so I think they did it, they used those names.
Now, as we use it, do we just report that to the town accountant? Is there any,
It just went into the gift account, the regular gift account.
so we don't have to
Yeah,
report back as
Yeah, they give us
since
a check and then it goes into the gift account.
Very nice.
It's very generous.
I like those donations.
So that wasn't requested? It was
No.
just a,
No,
just a gift?
The best kind.
Okay, motion to accept the director's report.
Motion to accept?
Second.
And discussion, highlights, changes.
I have just a couple of things on the building and grounds. We did meet with Phil and he gave us, did you get the new?
Yeah, I did.
I think you put the S.
Yeah, he missed the S in
Yeah.
my email address.
He gave us a quote of don't remember what it was.
8,935.
Yeah, and we were originally quoted 11,400
Here it
something.
is.
Wow.
Well, we changed it around. George had it done a little different than what Lonnie wanted, so we did what Lonnie wanted. With the cameras and all that. Now, he said he was gonna put that on a computer in the middle, I think.
It will be on one of the staff computers, the lower one where we do the cataloging, not the two that main circulation.
Now, will it be up all the time?
I think it would be in the background all the time, or we could bring it up if we wanted to, and then it'll be on Amy's computer and mine.
You might think about it, if you would like it, to get a bigger screen for the your house, so you see the whole, because you have a lot
I
of
have
people.
double monitors,
Okay.
so I think one could.
Same with mine.
Yeah.
Have the same thing.
I think that's
Okay.
fine. It's not like I'm staring at all the time,
No.
so. I think
Drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that she got the quote, request from Diamond to come down and do our
Yes.
Yeah.
river maintenance.
Yeah, they'll be here Wednesday morning to take a look at what we need, and they'll purchase the filters, and then we'll just reimburse them for it.
Okay.
And then if, so most likely they'll come back Thursday or Friday and actually do the maintenance work.
We should probably let, Sam,
Okay.
just because he's going to be servicing, because he still has to do his thing with it and stuff.
I think that's all they did last year. We do have him coming, the history room, there's a problem with the ventilation in here, is the alarm went off, it got too hot in here, which is the first time that's ever happened, we did not know there was an alarm in here that would go off.
Oh, yeah.
So right now we have the doors open and the AC higher in the rest of the library to keep it cool in here, but we have a call into him.
If you can't fix it, sure, you get Portland and we've got the individual unit just for this room.
Right.
It
John said
wouldn't be,
sometimes
it wouldn't be
this
really
week?
good.
Yeah.
Wednesday they're coming?
Yeah, it's like,
That's
yeah, the worst time of year to have a problem like that, because everybody's having AC issues right now, so.
Was there something else that you were waiting for Diamond, they didn't respond?
That was about the shed, but they are not gonna be able to do it.
They're backed up for a year, plus they would need architectural drawings, engineering drawings, and all that.
And you kind of put that aside anyway, right?
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, if Fowl wants to do a smaller shed by themselves, we'll, talk about that at the time, but I think for
We just
now.
have to talk about location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, once they actually, I think that would probably be in the fall after the book sale, they might go back to that, but for now that's off the table, I think.
Any other comments, questions?
Oh, I did want to bring up one thing. So the AED was delivered, when was that, last year, Friday?
Yeah.
On Friday morning, and I do have some possible dates for the training. I didn't know if any of the trustees were interested in coming. I know you went through it, I didn't know if anybody else had been
It depends when
interested.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a Monday morning from 9 to 10:30.
Oh, okay.
Because that was kind of the easiest for all the staff to be able to get here, because only 2 of us would have to come in early. I can email you the dates
Okay,
afterwards.
yeah,
I
that'd be
printed them out.
great.
I don't know what I did with them, but it would be an hour and a half.
Have you decided where to put it?
Not yet. I was maybe in the lobby somewhere. I'm not
It should be where
sure.
people would see it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a certain height for ADA.
Yeah. So we might be able to figure out something in the lobby or.
Tom might have picked up some totals.
Yeah. But for now, yeah, it's in my office at the moment. But so we do have it, and we will have hopefully end of June, beginning of July, we'll be able to do the training.
Great.
And did we end up paying for that?
I think that's going to come out. We have some extra money at the end of the year because we've been short-staffed for.
Okay.
It turns out a majority of the year when we
Yeah.
actually started talking about it between the different positions.
Because I know we
So-
talked about that last.
Yeah, so there's going to be.
Are you getting it through him?
Yes, it was, yeah, through Lieutenant Noon. So I was just
Oh,
gonna
good,
take the money out of
good.
that.
You know, I found out there was a time that they asked if we wanted, the town
Yeah.
asked if we
Mhm.
wanted one, we said no.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would have been paid for.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Looks like you've got a busy schedule for this summer.
Yes. I am wondering about the outdoor, now that the walkway and everything has been pushed back again. I don't know what the construction is gonna be with that, so we'll see what
Now
happens.
you know the last
It's easy enough to move back inside.
You're still waiting on a contract.
Yeah, exactly, so. So it's not until June 9th that we were gonna start, but we'll see.
That sounds great.
I think it's
Have
gonna be
it
really fun,
outside.
yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
And we did, not aside from this, we did meet with Joseph on the location of the trees and the layout outside. And we talked, and I think we need to talk again about it.
Yeah.
It talks about all the bulbs and everything there, but
The
stuff's gonna
maintenance,
come
I
up.
think, is gonna be a
I
bit
tried to
more
tell him
than,
as much little maintenance as possible.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
him, anybody can go do it, but if nobody can go do it,
yeah,
Yeah.
so
yeah, we don't have.
we could lean more toward trees.
Or yeah, definitely things that don't need any sort of maintenance whatsoever would be best.
Anything else to add?
I think that was it for the chart session. Yeah, that was all.
Vote to accept the report?
Aye.
Right.
Oh,
Aye.
oh,
We
but we
motioned.
already voted. We voted on the, okay. And now
You don't
was
have to vote,
discussion
you don't
and
have
then
to
the
vote
vote.
after discussion.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Right, well,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking.
But
We
that's-
already
that's-
voted.
Yeah, that's what we did a couple minutes
Yeah.
ago.
That's where we've been. Thank you.
Oh, keeping in this vein, Assistant Director's Report, motion to accept.
Motion to accept?
Second. Discussion. Congratulations. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Friends Report, I have very little. I did forget to mention the paperback book sale is starting this week. Right?
No.
Isn't it this week?
No, that's
As
July.
well? Oh,
Yeah.
Boy, am I out
You
of-
terrified me.
I saw the boxes in the hallway and I thought, that's it.
Yeah, no, that'll be
I
happening in
talked to
July.
Sue yesterday, about possibly putting advertising on the school sign for the booklet. Because
nice.
River Day is advertising on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, they do that.
She said she's gonna talk to her.
Yeah, Fowl will have a table at River Day.
Mhm.
They could hand out flyers about that.
You guys have a machine?
I'm going to get one. It's on the, yeah, it's under new business, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Safety Subcommittee, any more updates?
Not really.
Okay. Personnel, we're meeting with Bonnie following this meeting for our annual review. All right, new business. Okay, go for it.
Going on back to the camera issue. We had a group. They were a problem last year. They got kicked out for the rest of the school year. It happened again this year. So at this point, they are not allowed here without a parent with them at all
Same
times.
group of kids?
Yes. School knows exactly who they are. It's, we had a couple of really bad incidents the last couple of weeks. I was actually kind of getting nervous for my safety. They were not happy with me. I did talk to the principal over at school, Laura, who is extremely nice, and she did talk to their parents. And since then, that was the middle of last week, and the last 3 days of the week they didn't show up again. I'm hoping that's the end of it, but it was getting to a situation
It was
where
really loud
she
Tuesday.
was here Tuesday.
Inside? Inside?
Yeah.
I try to head them off before they get in the building because it's easier to just not let them in than try to get them out again, but I was not fast enough and they were in the lobby screaming very unpleasant things at me, so.
Really?
And she happened to be,
I was
the
here for
knitting
either.
group was here.
Middle school or
It was
high school?
Tuesday.
Middle schoolers. Yeah.
I wouldn't have called the police.
They don't like when I call them, they want me
I
to call the
know.
school and then the school wants me to call them.
But
and-
remember, when
I'm
they
kind of-
come here,
I know.
they're not part of the school.
I know.
anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
But when I call, it's, they
Yeah.
want the school to deal with it, so.
Just tell them that the school should record you.
I do, but that's
Well-
that's a very much a last resort, but in this case I almost did, but they did find it.
How horrible.
Yeah, it was very unpleasant.
Were they here for a while?
It was.
No,
No, it was kind of quick,
Yeah.
but loud,
But loud.
screaming loud.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe
And it's not
boys-
something I ever want the patrons to hear again,
No, yeah.
because what they said was pretty awful, so.
Mhm.
They using the F word and everything?
Oh, no, they told me to go kill myself.
Oh, goodness.
Very loudly in front of a lot of children, so.
That's
And there were
that's
patrons in and
terrible.
out, and so that was kind of the last straw for me, so.
We did talk about that with the cameras. When they want the cameras in certain spots, it gives them a better view.
Evidence.
Basically, yeah.
And outside, which is, we're gonna cover the whole building
Yeah.
around.
Now, the school resource officer, you don't think he would have come over?
I couldn't get a hold of any. It's hard because it's when it's later in the day. They're usually gone by 3.
His car is there all the time.
Yeah, I only have Laura's contact information. So it's, it's like a relay sort of. So in this case, they did leave, so I didn't call the police. But, if it had happened again, I was going to.
And you think she did handle it?
I think, yeah, it seems to have been.
She's been really
handled. She is,
And
yeah, she is
and one other
excellent.
thing we're gonna have with the security system is a panic button in the front desk that
Yeah.
goes to the police station.
Oh, excellent. Did you try out the air horn?
Not yet.
That would
We
scare
almost pulled it
somebody.
out.
That would have scared those kids.
But that is a situation we can't have in this library, just for me,
No.
because it's very upsetting personally, obviously. But I don't want anyone else in this
No.
library hearing
No.
that kind of commotion. That was awful for everyone, so.
Who's working with that?
Oh, I think who was
Dan,
here?
me,
Nancy.
and Nancy, yeah.
Yeah, and then Denise McCauley happened to walk in just as they were yelling that, and she was like, taken aback, obviously.
bet.
So. And then I don't know, the week before was the screaming of the F word in the parking
And then
lot.
flipped us off, and they
Yeah.
said, what are you talking about? We didn't do that because we have no cameras, we can't say
Yes.
that happened.
And their parents have been called
Oh,
before.
The mom was in the car.
The mother was in the car
Watching.
when they were doing that.
Yeah. They rolled down the windows and flipped us off in the
Because they
car
left
with her in there.
for
There
a
was 4 of
while,
them.
and then they came back to get picked up, and were doing the same thing, hanging out of the car window in front of their parents. So.
Could you arrest her for disturbing the peace?
What, arrest the mom?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been a very stressful couple of
It really
weeks.
has, yeah.
Wow.
But this has been sort of like it sort of reached a point where things were not feeling good here, and I think the cameras will help a lot, but I just kind of wanted it on the record that this is what has been happening.
So when,
Absolutely.
when school is out, it's probably not.
It's
patrons,
easier, yeah.
And the end of the year, it probably escalates just because.
Yeah, everybody's,
they escalate
all
at
of the
end
kids have
year.
been a little,
But if you remember last year.
excited
when
about the end of the
school
year.
got out, we talked about how to handle the parking lot over the summer, when school started. And we need to talk about this over the
Yeah.
summer.
And
I think-
you
I
know,
really think you should be able to call the police and they should come right away. I think
Yeah.
You should call the school.
I
and
don't
tell
want
them
to,
to do that.
I think if they really knew at the police station what was going
Yeah.
on, they wouldn't tolerate it.
So yeah, maybe we need to meet with someone from the police station before school starts again. I think the cameras will be enough of a deterrent. It's more that knowing that they can't say I didn't do anything, I think will help the situation a lot. But that is where we are. It's been a few weeks.
And it's tough when the parents aren't supportive.
Ooh. And 99.9% of the kids are good for
Oh, they are, yes.
Yeah.
It is this one group, and
Yeah.
it's been this one group for like the last couple of years,
I
so.
don't agree with the school's policy, once they leave the school, they can't go back. The school doesn't deal with them anymore.
Well, there's nobody there. They have a lot of after-school things, but unless you're
nobody-
signed up
kids
for
are
those
out there.
things.
Yeah. And it is technically, a separate area, so I understand their take on things as well, but we are not, equipped to handle things like that here.
Shouldn't
Go,
have to.
go before the select one time, we need a security person from here.
Oh.
I bet they would act quickly with the police department.
I want this to be a nice, welcoming,
Yeah.
happy place, not,
Yeah,
people
I think-
screaming in the lobby.
Yeah,
We
if
wanna
they
keep it.
knew what it
Yeah.
was, they might not take it so lightly.
Yeah,
Do these kids have library cards?
yeah,
They're not gonna get any either.
yeah.
No.
And I can't say,
I'm
like,
looking for the angle.
Give me your name and number, because I want to call and talk to your parents about how horrible you've been. They're not going to give it to me. So it makes it more difficult when there's no, they know there's not a lot I can do because I don't know their last names. I don't know.
But
You know.
one of the kids would tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, usually if you listen, like that's how I
Yeah.
learn first names at least. They're talking about so and so, and I'm like, put the name to the face. So, but we're a library. There's not,
Do you ever take pictures of them?
No, that's no. It will. The cameras will help because if I have an issue with someone and I'm trying to explain who it is, how do you describe them?
It's on your personal phone,
You
Yeah.
even have to stop that, take pictures.
We could if necessary, and I could say this has been a problem going on, and that we're all on the
Wow.
same page. So
Will the cameras be visible in that the kids can see that there are cameras?
yeah, they're not going to be huge.
Well, won't you have to put up
Distractions,
a
but-
sign that,
No,
We're told no. Only
No.
if it's an audio recording is it
That's what it's-
illegal, yeah. But for a camera, the school has them, most places do. It's not something I love the idea of, but I think in this case it's a necessity, unfortunately.
in ample to cover the.
Then do we worry about them throwing rocks at the camp?
They would be on camera doing it
Right.
because the security person that we
Right.
talked to did bring that up.
Right,
Like
okay.
the way they're angled
Yeah, the way
to,
they're positioned, you're gonna see somebody trying to do something.
and then it's
then-
all on the cloud and everything, so they can't damage the actual footage. So.
And then you're talking property damage.
Yeah. That's more serious.
I worry every
Wow.
day when I go out that somebody's gonna have like keyed my car or something.
Really?
Yeah.
They know where our cars are. So
Yeah,
and they go
it's-
back there to sit at the table.
There's only so much stuff.
I think they're just really just showing off to each other though. Do you think
They
it's
are, yeah.
personal?
If it's one-on-one, like the kids won't do anything, but when they're in a group, they
Yeah,
get, like,
it escalates,
yeah.
and it used to
Yeah.
just be kind of like, you
That
know,
mob mentality.
being
Yeah.
tough, but
Yeah.
I don't know, the last couple of weeks it got really out of hand, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed more
So you'll see
personal.
kids being coming over every week.
Yeah, this has been going on for a long time.
And then middle schoolers.
Hopefully 8th grade.
And they call them middle schoolers because they are in the middle. They're not little kids and they're not grown up.
Yeah. Wow.
They don't know where they fit.
Right.
So, anyway, not to bring the meeting down. I
I'm
just
sorry
wanted
that's
everyone to
happening.
know what
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
what was actually happening,
All-
because it sort of escalated very quickly.
Wow.
Okay, back on to better things.
Okay, the doors.
I think we already talked about that mostly, just they'll be here Thursday and Friday.
Friday.
We're gonna have everyone come in through the north side of the community room doors, because that's the one that has the door right into like the edge of the children's section. So they can come right through and then up to the desk.
We're gonna hold on to the doors and take the hardware off. Because the hardware, maybe somebody in town could use it.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
push crash bars and stuff are very expensive. And the closures on the top are very expensive.
We have to make sure we take off the alarm
Yeah.
piece on the top, yeah.
Will you count? Will there be a door count on the door entrance? that you
We'll
have to
probably
get
just
to?
skip it for those 2 days, because we can't get it off the wall, it's
Yeah.
attached very tightly, so we'll just probably, for those 2 days, average it or something.
Long time coming.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
Okay. The new copy fax center.
Yes. So I was saying earlier, we do have, because of various people changing positions and leaving, we have about $20,000 from payroll left over that I'm going to request is switched over to one of our other line items to use for other things. One of the things that we have been looking at would be a copy center. So we could do, when our phone line switched over, our fax machine we've had a lot of trouble with, so we haven't been able to fax. Faxing and printing from phones and tablets are like the two questions we get asked almost every day.
So people come in to fax?
Yes, because there aren't a lot of places around to do it anymore.
There's not a lot of faxing.
We did.
We used to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the drugstore.
Everyone asks, like, I say we need a fax machine and everybody looks at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for medical things, you cannot scan them. They have to be faxed. And there's like certain government things that have to be faxed. And not a lot of places do it. So we get calls for that constantly. And ours hasn't been working because of the phone line issue. And then people always have, something on their phone that they want to print. And then they have to open up their email on our computers to do it. And nobody ever knows their passwords, which I don't either. No
They just
judgment.
plug a jump drive or something.
It's actually, they just downloaded this app. I did print out the information for you. There's an app for that. So it would be, the machine kind of looks like this. It looks like the big, office copy machine. There is an app that they would use to print right from their phone or tablet. They would be able to pay using like Apple Pay, Google, debit cards, anything like that. We could have it hooked up to a credit card machine. That's something we've never been able to do, and not a lot of people carry cash anymore, so that's also another issue. So this company that I'm looking at, they would do the processing through them, and then just take out, the fees and whatever, and give us the rest. And then it would also, I don't think I printed out the picture of what it looks like, but there's like a sign that, shows people what they're doing. So I think the first, yeah, they can do cash also, but they can do card. It would scan to email and everything. You could just scan items, which is, a lot of it is what we do, but a staff member has to do it, so this would free up staff also. You know, we'd have to get everybody, you know, basically, once they're set up with the app and everything, I think. For the first couple months, it would probably be.
So the patron needs to set up the app.
Yes,
person who
yeah,
wants to
but all
use
they
it.
have to do is download an app, and the
And-
staff could help with that part of it, of course.
And it makes labels and,
It would scan to email, they could fax, they could print from a cell phone or tablet or anything like that, or just make a photocopy. Which are all
and it
things
would
we have
cost
done.
What, do you know?
Don't have a price yet. I've been playing phone tag with these people for weeks, so unfortunately. So this I don't think I could get before the end of the month because there's only a few weeks left. So this is something I still very much want to look into, and possibly with the Anderson donation that we received, the gift from Richard Anderson.
What's the monthly fee?
That I still have to find out. I don't know any of the.
Is it usually like so much per copy?
The copies, I don't think it would be just for like the credit card stuff. There would be monthly fees, and I think maybe rental versus purchasing the machine and things like that. So I definitely need a lot more information.
Let's
But
see if it comes with a maintenance contract.
it says on the website that it does, but I would, you know, obviously need more details. But this is something I definitely want to look into. I think it would be really good for our patrons, and it would help the staff not have to.
Boy, we're going into the 21st century.
Yes.
So anyway, so that is that. So that doesn't actually help us with the $20,000.
With them, we're on a toboggan.
You're saying help
So
us spend?
yes, so that is not going to be by the end of the month because that
Right.
you know.
Do you have to spend it by then?
Yes.
Or it goes back to town hall.
Yes, so they already gave us the money, I hate to not, you know, do anything with it. So I wanted to talk again about the study booths that we had talked about that would have the noise, you know, noise canceling, whatever it's called, I don't know. The stuff on the walls that is noise canceling, so people can do Zoom
Soundproofing.
calls. Soundproofing, thank you.
There you go.
So they could do Zoom calls, meetings, things like that, and they have a quiet space, and we all don't have to listen to them. So that is something that is, the single ones are about $7,000. So Amy and I were looking around at various places that they could be placed.
You need someplace visible for,
Depending on where it's situated, the new security cameras would, based on the couple of locations we kind of looked at that are the only options, you know. It's not like we have a ton of extra space.
I thought we already approved those.
Well, we had talked about it, but then we never really went farther because Josh left
Did you
and
go,
everything got
does somebody
crazy.
have them? Did you go see?
There is one in New Bedford. I'm going to try to go next
Okay.
weekend to see it. I can't remember. It's like one of those WeWork places where everybody shares the building,
Yes.
and they do have one there. So I'm going to try to go see it.
Were you the one that had seen it?
I've seen, oh,
Yes.
yes, I
Yes.
did see it,
Okay,
yeah. It's very cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
Does
The whole,
it-
that whole
does it-
building is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Does it need electric and or phone line?
I have to find out. I have a Zoom meeting with somebody from the company tomorrow to find out all of the details. It seems to be its own contained thing because like they do have the option you could have it on casters and just like move it where you want.
Yeah.
So it's got to be pretty much
It's like a
contained.
phone booth.
Yeah,
You plug it in.
basically. Yeah, it is. It looks exactly like a phone booth and it has a little desk
And
in
the other
it.
question I have is if it's sort of being closed with the door shut on.
But you can see through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is there air movement?
Yes, there's fans in them.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be really horrifying.
A steam box.
Exactly, yeah, no, it has, I think, like, there's fans on the bottom that blow air through the vents. And I have to check, I would have to check with if it needs, like, fire suppression in it or something, because it's a separate thing. They do have, you know, it's made so you can add
I
that
would
in.
think so. You could ask that guy right there.
Yeah.
The AEDs.
Oh, yeah, he would know. So I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow. The options would be either we could completely get rid of the desk in reference, because if we have the cameras, we don't need somebody sitting directly there all the time.
Is that the one in the middle?
Yeah, so we just moved a little desk there because we didn't know what else to do with the tiny desk. We could move the public tables, we have the two big tables where people sit, where the desk is, and put two of them there kind of back to back. Or we could reconfigure where our periodicals are. If we took those shelves out, put a shelf where the desk is now for the periodicals, and then put them against that back wall. We did, there is enough room for the doors to open and everything, we did measure it. So we'd have to figure out where we want them, but there are a couple of options. So that is where I am, but I thought that was a fairly large purchase, because, you know,
Is that gonna help
Yes.
use up your 20,000?
yes,
Okay.
that would take a lot of it, and it's something we really wanted anyway, so.
And we've got, looking at buying two?
I think so, yeah.
Do we need a motion to
Yes.
allow Bonnie to spend up to, is it 20 or 21,000?
That's the total we have. This would, depending on what sizes we
to-
get. Yep. I have it.
Yeah.
I have to do the math. It's about $20,000, so I'll have
Okay.
left over.
So, motion to accept up to $20,000 for these sound study booths?
It's $20,000 you have to spend, but the
Yes.
sound booth is $8.
For a single one, it's like 6,900 or something, but we were thinking of two.
So the motion.
So it won't be for the entire, it won't use the
So
entire 20,000.
Spend up, not
I
to
make-
exceed,
Not
I
to
make a
ex-
motion that we give Bonnie permission to purchase 2
Okay.
of the study booths.
Okay. And I will talk to the person, because they do have double ones where they could, like, people tutoring and stuff could use them, so I would talk to the company as to.
Just make sure you find out about delivery and
Yes.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I'll find that out all tomorrow. I
And
just-
then, is there something else you can do with the rest of the money?
Yeah, we could get extra supplies, book covering supplies, things like that, that we
We've done a
need.
lot,
I wanted to
and
get a
then-
few things for the outdoor play group, some extra
Good
toys for
idea.
that, so.
oh, great.
Whatever's, we can figure out whatever's left over, but if we had, since we had a big project we had already talked about, I thought that seemed like a good use for the money.
Unfortunately, you gotta spend it or lose it, but
Would you consider buying a double for the one-on-one and a single?
Yeah, well, they have, there's an
Would that be
ADA
a different-
version, which I'm not sure, but they do have one that everything's lower and the door is wider. But it takes up a lot more
Yeah, they're not
space
fit-
than the
yeah.
other, so that I was kind of leery about. And then they have the one that's like the phone booth that Tully has seen, and there's one that's like basically a double phone booth. And they could either face each other or face away with like 2 desks, so.
So maybe 2 singles would be easier.
I'm not sure if we did a double and a single, or 2 singles, or I figured,
Would you have them together? If you got 2 singles, would you have them together?
probably yes, just for space-wise, I think it'd be easier to just kind of.
But you're not able to work together. You're in
No,
two
those would be, yeah,
individual
you can only fit
spaces.
one person in the single one.
So
But
Now,
if-
do you have an internet connection?
They do, yes. I'm not sure if it's Wi-Fi or if it has to be hardwired, and that's what I have to find out, all the details, but I couldn't talk to him till tomorrow, so I couldn't get the details.
Would you have a reservation system for it, do you
We
think?
would have to see how that went. But,
If it were kids going in after school.
If there's a
double
reservation
That I would
system,
feel like
people could book it for like
it's not
3
quite
or
for
4
that.
pounds.
No, but I'm thinking maybe a double isn't the
yeah, I was thinking
best
more, we have a
idea.
lot of people who tutor, somebody
Yeah.
likes to use this room on like Monday nights. So I was thinking for that it would be good, but yeah, I do picture like 6 kids trying to climb in like a clown car. So we would have to keep an eye on things.
Yeah,
but-
you just make some rules when
Yeah,
you
exactly,
get
yeah.
started.
The
But
same
a
thing we do,
reservation makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
because you make sure that 3 o'clock plugs in, and then they can't go in.
And then we don't have this, the same person using it all day, every day, or, yeah. But I think it would be nice for, quiet studying, and people do testing sometimes here.
I mean, it was just this room, and then
That's
no one
right.
can get in here and do history
Yeah.
work, and it's a problem.
And
so-
that's not really what this room is for. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be the local history room. We use it as a kind of study meeting room, but that wasn't really the intended purpose, so. So that was my idea.
Very good.
So we need a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, go for it.
I already talked about the AED actually, so I will send out the possible dates, and if anyone else does want to attend, we'll figure that out. And I'll talk to the staff. We're thinking just the 4 full-time staff will do the training, because the others are only here like 15 hours a week, so it wouldn't,
And there's always a full-time worker.
There's always
anyway.
at least,
Yeah.
almost all of us are here every day.
Mhm.
It's only Fridays and Saturdays that the 4 full-time aren't here together, and in the evenings. But.
Security upgrade we spoke about,
Yeah,
landscaping and ADA walkway.
just waiting on him to find a concrete, and we're gonna start.
Wow.
It's all coming together.
Anything else?
There was one thing, when staff pointed out July 4th is a Friday, and we love to have our Saturdays off. So if that is a possibility, if we could close the Saturday, the July 5th.
This has been a year.
It has.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion, we do it, Bonnie, once.
Is there a second?
Sue seconded.
This is, nobody in the town does Saturdays, right?
No.
Only the landfill.
Yeah, they work. They have Monday, Tuesday, or
Just
Tuesday,
post it.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll just let everybody.
Everyone voting to,
Nobody's complained so far the other days we've done it, so.
Well, and considering how much you've taken on this year.
yeah,
And how well you've handled everything, it's almost like a little bonus.
It is, it's nice. It's nice to have a long weekend occasionally.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.